we open in the name of Allah. As-salam, as-salam, as-salam. Latif al-Sufyan Louis. Right before we bring up the proof, we have to understand our culture before a black man was named a black man. We're going to pull through the law so it's understood for you from scriptural basis from the divine creator himself. So as we need to understand in this time and era, every nation has their own book. This is very important for us to understand. We've been left out as black people to not have a holy book. Every nation has a holy book that represents who they are. That holy book for us was never given, never told to us. So it's like when you come to the party last, you got to get the leftovers. Whatever's left is what you can have. So they ran and took the Bible. Other nations ran and took the Quran. Hindus ran and took the Vedas. Asians went and took the way. So all that was left for us. All that was left for us was the Al Sufyan. This the only holy book that remained after all nations grabbed all of the holy books. This was left for us. It say the first shall be made last, and the last shall be made first. So I guess it was made for us, the black nation, the black people, to come to our awareness, spiritual awareness. And when we come to our spiritual awareness, we will find our holy book. Before we was knocked asleep and called the black man, the black woman, and the black child. That word was Al Sufyan. So the Al Sufyan want to teach us something. Great Elder, would you read Sufa 35 and 45 for us?
Super 35, the study. El Durasa.
And number 45.
Verse 45.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He who knows his own self knows.
Now, this is what the Al Sufyan teaches us. So, if we understand all of the teachers who was coming to teach us about ourselves, how to be ourselves, Noble Drew Ali, knowledge of self, Messenger Elijah Muhammad, these things are understood for the original people. No other nation thinks like this, talk like this. This is our own culture. This is our own language. This is our own history. This is our learning. This is why we exist. Is to know who I am. Your culture was the culture of self-knowledge. Knowing who I am or who you are, in the phrase of second person terminology. But we didn't talk like that. So we're going to get a self-literacy from our cultural standpoint of who we are and what we are. We got a few things to unpack here. We're going to start with some basics. Sufa 2. What we want to understand is, behold, our divine creator is every language. So when we say Al Illah, this is every language. This is what we were speaking before we met any individual. On our land, this is what we were speaking before any foreigner, stranger, and alien invasion came to the land of America. So I got to bring some reference so you know what things mean when you hear them. Just bear with me because this is for you. Okay, so when now we are the people, we say, of the Most High. That word, the Most High, is the word Allah. So you see this. Allah means the Most High. So when you are saying you are people of the Most High, you are saying you are people of Allah. He who knows himself knows Allah. What came first, Psalms or St. John? Psalms. Psalms 82:6. I have said that ye are Allah, and all of you are children of the Most High. This is written in your law that you are Allah, and all of you are children of Allah. So understanding the law is where you was born from. You was born from the law, which are the words of the divine and the creator. So you being born from the first, you speak the language of the first. Al-Ilah is the first, and Al-Ilah is every language. Meaning you are Allah. He who knows his own self knows Allah. This is your culture. So you have to understand when it says and, so what has been transported and have been ran from these others, and that's because we have the Al Sufian. Y'all can keep what you have, because we're gonna keep what came to us. And the Al Sufian affirms that we must know ourselves, and to know ourselves is to know Al-Ilah. Peace be upon all prophets and all messengers and all followers of Islam, followers of the true Islam, the way of Islam. One of those brothers, friend of Allah, used to say John 10 and 34. Every time he would see us, a friend of Allah would tell us John 10 and 34. And he wasn't with us long and he translated. So when we go to 10 and 34, Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law? I said, you are Allah. And you are children of Allah. So what they didn't want you to understand, the prophet of Jesus was saying to that time, it was clear in those times. Those who bear witness in those times, those who was eyewitness. Now maybe you can begin to understand what is being said when it's said, I and the Father are one. When you see my image, you seeing the image of the Father. This is our whole culture. This is how we all talk before the alien invaders came. Gave us the Men in Black flash and lost spiritual consciousness. So now we finna show in the law is so consistent. Not only have Jesus said, you are Allah, also it's written in the law before that you are Allah and you are children of Allah. Again, the Most High means Allah. So now we finish step back into divine law. Divine law says, he who knows his own self knows Allah. next Sufa reading we need is Sufa 66. And on the screen, 32.
Allah is every stone, every piece of marble, every piece of earth, as well as every.
Was that any less clearer or more clear? If a stone, and the Creator say not just a stone, every stone is Al-Ilah. Every piece of marble is Al-Ilah. Every piece of earth, from the dust, you came from the dust you was born, as they say. That even dust of the earth is Al-Ilah. And what we went over last lesson, which was our blessing, that Al-Ilah is the God of the living, not of the dead. And we have it right here in cold words, clear cold water. Every living thing is Al-Ilah. So our culture, our language, our wisdom, understanding, and knowledge is we are Al-Ilah and a part of Allah. So if you ever heard of the black man is God, you just seen for yourself that every living thing is Al-Ilah. So more precise term is the black man is Al-Ilah. And the black man is part of Allah. You are the father and the child. The Al-Sufyan teaches us that anything that is both is called a paradox. Anything that is both is a paradox. Another Sufa reading, Sufa 42 and 30.
Thus, you are the living paradox.
the Al Sufyan affirms to us that we are the living paradox. '29, the one right over there. What you?
We are but one, yet within one, we are split into parts.
We are one.
Mhm.
That's Al Ilah. Yet within one, we are split into parts. That's called the children of the Most High. When we see each other, we are seeing both at once. So in Al Sufyan, it's not reserved for just a man. In Al Sufyan, reserved for all, each of us. We have the full cognitive proof and the documented truth for verification in the time that we in. The living paradox is something we need to get acquainted with. We need to acquire this knowledge. Living. It was a saying from one of the prophets that I can change my cardinal flesh to higher form by love divine. And I can make myself manifest or go to the higher form, to the higher mind at will. Here's the access. Here's the access statements. If you can't speak it, you can't access it. This is why they changed the script on us. And now A is for Apple. A was for who you are. Al Ilah. Allah was the first letter of your language, of your alphabet. A wasn't for no apple. And so now, this is where we must understand. We can even go to the upper scale of knowledge. Not only are you the living paradox that you can come to flesh and go into mind at will, you can also never die. Don't let the new doctrines trick you into death. The philosophy, the pseudo-ography of death. To the Asiatic Al-Sufyan, there is no such thing. Al-Ilah is always. You could never die. All around you. This puts you, this all at the center. Do we hear this powerful wisdom? This is beyond supreme wisdom that was given in the 70s. You are now in the upper scale of knowledge. And now, understanding supreme wisdom, you are granted the access to divine wisdom. This is resurrecting the dead right now. From the Asiatic descent, how long have we been told not about our culture? Your culture is you or I can never die. They thought they can kill a nigger. Well, a nigger can never die. This what our ancestors did, but they didn't have the language to speak. And you from that cut. And now you in the time where you can speak your truth. You can sit in that seat. You can walk in that place. You can believe your own. This was given by our ancestors who were called niggers. That we are living proof and the living embodiment of truth. Flesh verified. Do we hear what we're saying? We are the living paradox. I, self, Lord, am master. Higher form. Can go into the flesh at will. Master of arm, leg, arm, heart. There is no throne of God. You are the opening of God. This is the opening. Now, if all this around us is an illusion, this is how we finna get into the upper room, as we say in the South. Then what is your flesh and what is the world around you. See, this never been a white man's world. See, that's the illusion because you will sleep to who you are. You know, in the South, as they say, when the cat sleep, the mouses come out and play. When that non-ether was spiritually unconscious, knocked in the head, couldn't see high noon, couldn't look at east or couldn't look west without seeing a hate sign. This was to program a new language of reality to change us from the living paradox to what we finna discover, all of us, here for the hereafter. Listen to this again now. You can never. You was told you had to die to get to heaven.
Time to be born and time to
If you can never die, then what is heaven? Let me wake up the psychosis. Still spiritually unaware. So we got to bring this in to know we are far greater than what we have ever been exposed to. These teachings from the divine are now exposing you who you are from the divine. You are a divine being. That's how we cut. This is how all Asiatics are cut. But guess why? You access it. What did God do to create that light? God spoke. See, but you got to speak the language of God. See, the Asiatic Al Sufyan spoke the language of God. Al Ilah. Let me help us out just a little bit. Just bear with me for a moment. Get some resources. Just in case a little people was behind the 8 ball. There's a game called pool. I don't know if it's everywhere, but it's in the South. And in the game of pool, you have something called the 8 ball. And out of all places where the ball could be, the 8 ball is only in one place. Dead center. The ball that's black is in the center, and we ain't talking cobblestone. But let me show you the map of how you are, what the scriptures and what the Sufa say you are. See, that's the elevated scriptures. Is the Sufa. This is for the Asiatics. This is what for us. Everybody ran and created from this. We was left out and dry there. Nobody whispered. Nobody told us. Nobody said anything from any other nation to who we are. But they love receiving our hard work money. But never got nothing good to say to us. But want to receive our hard working money. Those niggas about work day in and day out, past sundown, before sun up, in between the sun up and the sun going down. These niggas was never lazy. We never came from a lazy people. These people were the working people. And those same people also taught us to start working our minds. Those same working hard people making dimes on a dollar in those times, pennies a dime in those times. What you getting as a dollar, niggas wasn't getting a penny for. So black man, don't get you come from hard working niggas. Who they called niggas when they came over here to build their world. So in their book, everything was disclosed. So we got to bring the resources and make sure that you understand. So in the Bible, the name of the creator was given to Sufa, who was known in the Bible as Moses. And this is a reference point where we go to establish God's name on earth before who was better known as Jesus coming to the manifestation, the plane of things that are made manifest, like all of us. He went to the Asiatic school of knowledge of self. All the Asiatic culture, all of their education is based in know thyself. We don't teach no spookism. We don't teach no mystery God. We don't teach no invisible deity that don't do nothing. So we didn't know that Moses was actually given the name. So this is why all Bible readers should also become Quran readers. Because most of your answers that are not in the Bible are in the Quran. So if you haven't, that's why I wanted to go get this resource for you. So if you haven't read the Quran, you can see it for yourself that it's in the Quran. And this might encourage you to read it. It's about you knowing. In Quran, Allah directly addresses Musa and states, "O Musa, it is truly I am Allah, the Lord of the universe." Flat out written, black and white in the Quran. But you would know that if someone didn't tell you to go and read that. Go and look for yourself. So Moses, Jesus, Jeremiah, all coming from Abraham. We had a certain knowledge called al-Bakar. This is where all this knowledge is derived from. The divine wisdom, higher than the supreme wisdom. This is where man can never fall again. We in the upper room. "32. Could we get a Sufa read on the same one?
The dream of the universe of Allah.
Now this right now you're gonna have to, as you heard before, go hard, go home. This right here, you got to think big right here now. Now this ain't no slave and no relationship, so you got to think bigger than master, and you got to think bigger than a slave. This is about who you are, because you can never die, and we talking about self-knowledge. He who knows his own self knows al-ilah. This that is all around us. Talking your flesh. Your flesh is the universe. Asiatic peoples. Your flesh is the universe. You're going to have to think bigger on this one right here. You've been thinking a solar system. No, your whole flesh is the universe. That's why you the shape of a star. Give me one moment. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. See, can I get that image? On the right is the star. This is the shape of your flesh. Your flesh is the one that is part of Allah. Your flesh is what makes you the child of Allah. Only reality. We ain't talking no science fiction. We ain't talking pulling up a movie. We ain't talking about going in no book. We talking about stepping into the universe. When you step into the universe, you can see where stars are at. Could we get a reading on 38? Let's see, this is Sufa 66, 38.
The greatest temple, therefore, is one that respects the space, that sees the stars, that allows the moon.
The greatest temple, therefore, is one that respects the space that sees the stars. This is why you have to understand, where did the flesh come from? This is why it looks as the geometrical shape of a star. Self is a star. You don't worship others outside of you. As the first commandment say, I am. And you worship others before me. I am the Lord. We're talking about what we all have, y'all. We each have a flesh. Where did it come from? The heavens. Same place the sun and the moon came from. Allah. So this is why you see arm, leg, arm, supreme head, and divine heart. What's controlling the flesh is called Allah in Asiatic culture. Now, we talk the language of God. We are God. I am Allah and a child of Allah. We sitting on the 5 points of science. Arm, leg, arm, supreme head, divine heart. He who is within controls the outer. From the divine heart, you control the supreme head. The supreme head make everything manifest. Arm, leg, arm. Hands. All controlled by the self. Not by outside thoughts. Now, if you let them in, yeah, you have a mess. Depends on what you let in. They say you can't, the devil don't cross or He just called. Meaning he needs you to invite him. He just hope you invite him in. So he can ruin the knowledge of self. So finish this yet. We show and improve it as our knowledge of self brings equality. Remember, it said, prove all things. That comes from Asiatic self-knowledge. So here's the proof. Revelation 21:17. And measure the wall thereof in 144 cubits. You didn't know what that was. So here you go. You didn't know what that was, so Allah showed you. Because Allah loves his creation. Allah loves all his children. Allah loves all his family. Why is 144 so important, y'all? Let's see, as men open this up. According to the measure of a man, that is of the angel. The 144 is thought manifested. Remember, angels only follow the messengers of the divine. Angels only obey the voice of Allah. So to come into flesh, an angel had to make you an Asiatic. This is why you get from one of the prophets, what is an angel? A thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. Same for a prophet. Prophet is a man. An angel is the higher mind. So you was in the higher form. To represent that higher form, there's a matching correspondence called the star. We're finna get into the deep upper rooms. And then next, we going into language. We finna shift the whole culture, and we finna bring nothing but God's language, and we finna rewrite self-history in the name of Al-Ilah, Al-Sufian Islam. That's the first name, middle name, last name of God, Supreme Divine Creator Almighty. Now, if we don't incarnate, tell who does. Tell you the Creator's first name, middle name, last name, if he ain't the mother and the child. Only the child knows the father's middle name, and the middle name's sacred. Don't many people know many people middle names unless you know them. Meaning an intimate mind, love, respect. See, this all come with self. See, love is from self, not the flesh. See, he who does wrong to the flesh, the self will destroy him. Allah is God. And God made man. So man can become Al-Ilah. What's behind the flesh is the most greatest. He that is in is greater than he that is in the world. This is what this represents here. This is the divine self on the left that's before controlling the flesh that's on the out. You say let it be, the flesh go and do it. This is called self and flesh. These are two totally connected things. Let's reread it one more time. And he measured the wall thereof, 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is of an angel. Just that lesser flesh and that inner mind. Can this enter your mind? See, if you can change your mind, you can change the flesh. But the only way you can change the mind is through knowledge of self. This is the invisible, you would call it indivisible. It's he who made the image you see. For when you see the image of Allah, you are seeing the image of Allah. When you speak to the image and the image speak back to you, you are speaking to Allah. You're talking to an Asiatic. This is our culture. We walk and talk and chew God at the same time. But this was what was knocked out of our supreme head. So your heart and mind will be no longer connected to the knowledge of self. They have made what they have made. But they didn't make you. Al-Jiyah. How we originally pronounced God as an Asiatic. Jiyah. So what we want to understand, that we now in diction call God the most excellent God, is that for the conquest of self. This is what they don't want you to know. You don't want to be trying to conquer all the money in the world. You don't want to be trying to conquer all the women in the world. And if you a woman, you don't want to be conquering all the men in the world. Please don't. You don't want to be conquering all the cars in the world, all the championships. What you want to conquer is the conquest of self, self-knowledge. This is the greatest thing that you can call is the most excellent. See, the understanding that you are given, this put the strut back in your wall. This put the pin back in your step. Y'all know who we are. So here's that spiritual juice. Like Space Jam. Here go that spiritual juice. Had jumping over enemies, sliding out of evil way, talking with the language of, let's bring it back on the screen, Al-Ilah, the language of the Most High. We talk the language of Allah, the language of the Most High. Allah is every language. When we speak Allah, we speak in Chinese. When we speak Allah, we speak in man. What else we got? People in the South ain't being taught. Allah, yes. It's French. It's Spanish. German. Swahili. So now all those languages saying when we speak Allah, that sound to them now. They don't know what we saying. So we speak Allah. Arm, leg, arm, heart. There's an old saying that you don't look like my mama, you don't look like my daddy, so you don't tell me what to do. Now, this back in the ancient of the South. We used to know who was who. Your name ain't my mama's name, so why you telling me what to do? See, that's what the white man mixed. Didn't want you to understand. So he had to give you a language that go backwards. So when you don't speak Allah, you speak backwards English. See, they gave the slave, the nigga, backwards English. So who he think he is, he never speak that. And what he think he not is, that's who he truly is. They took our language of Allah. Al-Ilah was our language. And within our language was all our knowledge. I hope this makes sense. Within our language was all our knowledge. Who we was, who we thought we was, who we would ever believe would be. So we're going to be raising it, going from the supreme alphabets, from supreme mathematics, to self-mathematics, to the divine language of Allah. This is fit to empower you so with the omnipotence of the source from the first. The time has came for all of us to raise to that divinity that the messenger said was coming forth. The wisdom that's going to take us higher than the world that we was born in. There's so much for us to get into. Well, any speculations? I'm surprised there wasn't no questions on this one. Must be getting better out there. Showed and proved from none of the showed and proved the men that we talk about without their literature. From literature that predates those men. Predates Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah.
Predates Elijah Muhammad. Predates Clarence 13X. Predates Malcolm X. Predates Louis Farrakhan. Predates Malachi Z. York. Predates. So this means it validates if these men was telling any part of truth, which was these was Asiatics. That came with a message to uplift fallen humanity of being yourself. And all in that time, they all came with their own doctrine. Now, we can't say we made this up. Al-Sufyan didn't come from us. It came to us. Everybody chose the book they wanted. And all that was left in the spiritual essence was Al-Sufyan. Some reason other nations didn't want it. Maybe it was a standard they couldn't keep up with. Maybe it was the purity that was too pure. Al-Sufyan, the truth of the black man. Al-Sufyan, the truth of the black man. Al-Sufyan is the message to black women, black men, and their black child. You done seen all the other nations. They ain't coming to save you. They have a book that saved them. And you have your own book that will save you. So this is the language of Allah, the language of God. To get your English back, you got to get into this Al Sufi. That's the 144. This is what they dirtied up. Remember, you don't think you an angel. You don't think you nothing higher. You don't think you made yourself and became flesh. Please.
Christians out there that have read this scripture that Jesus said. He said sometimes we entertain angels unaware. There it is right there.
That's it right there. This is the us.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear the us, this is the us. The angels, the angel, the angel, the higher mind. You can't make this stuff up. It's already written. Then we went to pre-written text. And so Allah is the knowledge of self. Attaining this knowledge of self at the Al Sufyan affirms is the greatest reward. Could we get a reading from Sufa 43 to 48 under Sufa 25? Because I don't have any more to say.